Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a Newsbeat live show exclusive. The last time we did an exclusive show was back on April 12th, 2020. And on that April 12th, 2020, this was the video. We did a video right over here, and we talked about Tesla getting to a 1250 target. And again, that was on April 12th, 2020. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to reveal the next stock. I feel that's going to explode higher here. But just to give you some concept here, here is April 12th. It's actually right over here because this is April 13th and I did it on a Sunday. So pretty much Tesla closed at $573. We were just bouncing on a bear flag pattern off of the COVID thing. Everybody was still bearish at that time. It was just a matter of time before we came down and retested the lows. All the analysts were hiding underneath the desk. And I came out on when Tesla closed at 573 as the last known print in Tesla and put a $1,250 target on April 12th. Since then, just to give you again the context, since right over here when we called it, Tesla just on yesterday, which was Thursday, today is obviously a trading day off based on July 4th, Tesla hit $1,228. For a lot of our members in this room, this sort of information is life-changing. You probably saw it in the recent things and the recent advertisements from T3, but the truth is there are hundreds of people whose lives can change on a move like that. I don't often do Newsbeat show exclusives, nor do I often do Newsbeat shows even publicly anymore. I don't do them as often as I did. And the reason for that is I have been spending the majority of the time with the members of the Newsbeat live room. But I figured on a day where you're probably looking forward to trading, like we all are here in the Newsbeat live room, I figured I would share with you something that nobody on Wall Street is talking about, but is going to happen imminently. And I'm going to do a Newsbeat live exclusive, and it's going to be very short and simple. Again, I know we talked about Tesla doubling, more than doubling in value. Um, which it didn't exactly hit 1250, but it more than doubled in value, hit 1228 ever since it closed at 576. And yeah, we were the first. The analyst only came out later with the higher price targets raising again when the stock was trading over $900. So after it got back over $900, then the analysts started talking $1,000 targets. And after they needed a lot more confidence, they couldn't see through the fog earlier. So that's sort of what I tried to pride myself on, seeing through the fog a lot earlier. And remember, if you're a Newsbeat Live member, you do get these ideas prior to shows like this happening. The Newsbeat Live members did not know I was going to do a show like this. We sort of just talked about it and brought it up. And I'm going to show you a stock which I think is poised to explode. And it has to do with a stock split. So I want to actually bring you back and remind you of what Apple was in the stock split of 2014. Do you guys remember that? So again, you could just simply look it up on Google. If you just type in Apple 7-for-1 split, you could see that they did a 7-for-1 split on June 9, 2014. And you'll also see it on the chart with a little 7/1 underneath it on Apple. And you could just see it right over here when Apple did its famous 7-for-1 split. And I'm just going to take you back in time towards that level. Where is it? Did I miss it? Where'd it go? Oh, I see it. I just want to show you what Apple did, and then I'm going to reveal to you the next stock, which I believe a split happening is imminent, and what that stock might do. All right, right there it is. It's sort of hidden there. So here's the 7-for-1 split in Apple. And you can see the stock really just ramped up. I mean, in a matter of a month, Apple went from 83.65 to 93.07. It doesn't sound like a lot to watch Apple go up 10 points, but that's actually like a 13% move in Apple. And then it went as high as 95, even higher, almost a 20% move in Apple prior to the 7-for-1 split. And then, of course, it just obviously took off afterwards. There's another stock that I don't see anybody, ironically, on CNBC talking about. The funny thing about this stock is I'm actually going to quote a CNBC article for why I think this stock is going to split and why I think this stock is ready to explode. And I'm going to show you my reasoning, and the stock, of course, is Alibaba. If you look at this, I'm sharing with you a link here. I should put it in the description of this video just to show you how amazing it is that things can just slip by Wall Street's radar, how it could just slip by Wall Street's radar. So, taking a look here, I'm talking about Alibaba, but the irony of this CNBC article is it was published on, I don't know if you could read that, but it actually says July 16, 2019. I'll try to I'll put a link um, to this article. And it's basically that Alibaba shareholders approve a stock split that could boost shares ahead of their reported Hong Kong IPO. A lot of times when you have these stocks that keep rallying and rallying, a stock split happens and the stock goes even higher because it makes it more accessible, for example, to all the Robinhood accounts. That's a very big thing these days. People on their Robinhood apps, jumping in these little names and holding them, and it's literally having um, perceived a large effect on the market. So by actually doing a stock split, yes, people are sort of um, not stupid, but sort of ignorant to the pricing. So, for example, if I told you that you could, I mean, Alibaba right now, and I'm going to show you exactly why I feel this stock's going to explode, and you're going to laugh at how simple it is. So, Alibaba closed at $223.60. At the timing, I personally, as disclosure, I do own a position in Alibaba, as probably do a lot of Newsbeat Live members. And I'll show you exactly what I bought and where we bought it and what I think is going to happen. And obviously, I still think the opportunity is obviously still there. I mean, I just bought it on yesterday on Thursday, but look, it closed at $223.60. Alibaba is the largest Chinese publicly traded company on the planet. Alibaba is one of those huge, 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 huge companies. Now, if I came to you and we took, and let's say there's an 8-for-1 split, I'll just pull out my little nifty solar powered calculator here, and I will show you what happens when you do 223.60 divided by 8. Now imagine Alibaba shares were 28 bucks. Imagine you could buy Alibaba for $28. People would be more inclined. Oh my God, I remember when this stock was $200. Now, granted, that's coming from a place of ignorance because the stock is still, the same value. They just literally split the shares, but it makes it more accessible to people to buy. And as a result, I have noticed over my 21-year career as an active intraday trader that this tends to move the stocks higher. Now, going back to the CNBC article, just to show you again, this came out in 2019, and there's a very key part of the article which a lot of people are missing. They so Alibaba shareholders voted. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to go ahead and copy this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put it in a notepad. Again, I will share the link to this article, but this is just simply off of a copy and paste, just so you could view it a lot easier for why I feel Alibaba is going to explode. So again, just before I go into it, I mean, you're obviously agreeing to this. You're going to read this in full. I don't give stock picks, investment advice. I just want to share with you a little bit of my due diligence today, and it should be used for educational purposes only. So going back to it, Alibaba shareholders voted overwhelmingly in favor of a stock split. Overwhelming. It doesn't even matter if it was underwhelmingly, as long as it passed. It passed. So there was an overwhelmingly vote in favor of a stock split. Of course they would. Why would shareholders, for example, vote for a stock split? Because it usually means the price of the stock goes higher. It's more accessible. If they have 100 shares and you do an 8-for-1 split, they'll have 800 shares now at a cheaper price, but more people could buy it. So, it could actually potentially multiply into a higher price. The e-commerce giant said that could help with further fundraising activities. Yeah, it's called Robinhood and Webull and all these little free apps that people buy these stocks with nowadays because everybody wants to be a trader, right? That stock split which must come into effect on July 15, 2020, will see one ordinary share split into eight. Now, I have to remind you one last time that this article came out on July 16, 2019, almost a year ago. Almost a year ago. So they voted on it, and it has to happen within a year. So, pretty much, according to the shareholders, as far as I understand, and from my due diligence, they have no choice but to do a stock split. The shareholders voted for it. They're not going to hold another vote. They're not going to hold another vote. This isn't Floridian elections in the United States of America circa 2000, whatever. They're not going to hold another vote. They have to split the stock by this point. Now, they could have split it last year. They could have split it 3 months ago, 6 months ago, but they didn't. And the funny thing about needing to split by July 15th is, you could simply look at your calendar and today's July 3rd. So pretty much between now and the Wednesday, 2 Wednesdays from now, from this point forward, Baba has to stock split unless they're going to go against a majority overwhelmingly shareholder vote. They're going to see one ordinary share split into eight. That would mean the current number of ordinary shares, which stands at 4 billion, will increase to 32 billion. The vote took place at Alibaba's annual general meeting. So they literally had their general meeting, and their shareholders had the right to vote. The shareholders want this. Alibaba has to split. They have no choice but to do an 8-for-1 split. And nobody on Wall Street is talking about this obligation to do an 8-for-1 split. Here's my thoughts now, following through. With that being said, you have the all-time high on Alibaba at 231.14. You have the largest Chinese company, publicly traded, company on the planet, trading up here and just really just crushing it. I mean, first of all, just so if you didn't know, Alibaba is almost a $600 billion company. It's 593 billion as of yesterday. It's practically a $600 billion company. You tell me why, with this split, with Alibaba being more accessible to be the number one, I mean, there's a lot of drama right now with China. And if people want to own the largest Chinese company, publicly traded company, maybe one of their oil companies bigger, I don't know. But in terms of tech, if it isn't, it's one of them. The bottom line is people can own Alibaba at a cheaper price if they do this 8-for-1 split. And given the influx of people with their Robinhood apps, etc., I think they're going to buy the living whatever out of them. And yes, I am betting on it. And I'm going to tell you how I bet on it too right now. So what I did was I took the $235 calls and I kept just adding and adding to them. I'm probably gonna there's a good chance I continue to add to this position, especially if they pull it back a little. I'll add more contracts. I bought the $235 calls expiring on July 17th. Was it 17th? The Yes, July 17th. So basically expiring, it's considered the monthly options. And you might say, well, what's the advantage of doing that over buying common stock? I don't do options. The advantage is I have a limited risk. Those options cost me, I think I paid about a dollar. I think my average price is about $1.70. And what happens is, for example, let's say you wanted to bet, 500 bucks. You could buy three of those contracts for $1.70. You have $500 on the table, and you're not going to lose more than that 500 dollars. You're not going to lose more than 100% of what you put in. And that's sort of the beauty here, because even if some negative China news comes out and Alibaba plunges or whatever, you're not going to be able to lose more than that 500 bucks. And if you have three option contracts, you have the equivalency of 300 shares, which would obviously for a $223 name cost you a lot more money. I think as this story picks up, as analysts and whatever start watching this show, which I am sharing with you today, I think they're going to really pick up on this 8-for-1 split. Again, I don't really see it circulating out there. It's publicly known. I mean, it's a CNBC article, which I'll be attaching to this. And I really like the pop up above moving averages here. It just looks like it wants to go. My first target on Alibaba is $245, and I think it hits there. Um, I'm obviously betting on it, but I believe it will hit there um, by July 17th or earlier, probably earlier. And you might say, well, what would happen then? Well, if you had three contracts and it happened relatively early, there's a chance your position can be worth $4,000 with a $500 bet. I happen to be betting significantly more than that money. I was just trying to give you a mathematical example on the options. If you do common stock, it's common stock, whatever makes you sleep better at night. But this will allow you to really be part of this play and have a limited risk. There are people who can do more complex option strategies. That's for them. I just basically do straight calls or puts. And again, I bought the $235 calls. Um, expiring on the monthly. And again, if you like this, if you like this sort of stuff, like Newsbeat Live members, get this information a little early. I know I typed in 135 there. That was a typo, so I said 235. But again, we're doing these strategies intraday in the Newsbeat Live room, whether you're in front of your computer or not. You do get this information to your phone in a real-time basis because our Twitter is exclusive for Newsbeat Live members, which reminds me, there's like so many people who don't sign up for Twitter. Um, Go ahead and sign up for Twitter if you're a Newsbeat Live member right now because you get free access to this, but most people are in the room anyway. But nonetheless, we started lugging into Alibaba. I lugged in, I think I added like three times. I'm probably going to end up adding more on Monday potentially, depending on what my position does. And again, I think Alibaba is poised to explode. This is a Newsbeat Live exclusive. And again, the last time we did this exclusive, of course, was with Tesla, the 1250 target, while all the analysts were hiding underneath the table, and they only came out 350 points later. Did they come out and start upgrading their targets as well? And I think this is just really a unique opportunity, which is again, it's out there, but nobody is talking about it right now. I have a feeling within the next couple weeks, people are obviously going to be talking about it. People are going to start noting, saying, hey, wait, what's going on here with Alibaba? I think this is going to get on people's radars. Again, the all-time high is $231.14. If this stock goes over $231, these calls are going to explode through the ceiling um, pretty much. So again, I think it's a very interesting take. It's a very interesting take on the whole situation, and I think there's a really cheap, easy way to play it. So I hope you guys are missing trading as much as we do. We're T3 Live's number one trading room. We have number one customer satisfaction, number one retention rate. I would probably bet we have more people becoming millionaires here in our room than elsewhere. We have dozens and dozens and dozens of people just breaking phenomenal thresholds here in the Newsbeat Live room. And you could come give us a shot if you would like. Find out why we care for our members more than any other trading room out there. And again, links in the description if you would like to try us. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this presentation and really understand why we're loving Alibaba here. Happy trading, make money. I'll see you guys Monday on the Newsbeat live trading broadcast. Have a wonderful July 4th